Valerie,
Michael,
and welcome back to another episode of Alaka'i, the podcast.
we hope you enjoyed our last episode and shared it with your friends. Today we have a special episode for students considering law or interested in the legal field.
Today we have two members of the BYU-Hawaii Pre-law Society who will share insights on how the club helps students prepare for law school, networking opportunity, and common misconception about the legal field.
Our guests for today are Valerie Agustin, who is the president of the Pre-law Society, and Reese Clarke, the secretary, both actively involved in the Pre-law Society. Welcome to the podcast. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Okay, just finished a constitutional law class.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, middle of the semester, kind of busy, but doing well.
That's good. That's good to know.
Okay, let's start with what inspired you to join the Pre-law Society, and what do you love most about being part of it?
I mean, obviously for me, I've always been, ever since my mission, I've been interested in law and also politics. I followed politics growing up. It's been a big part of my life. And so now that I'm in college, I have sought opportunities to learn more about law and also my opportunities that could exist in law school. And so I figured the Pre-law Society would be a really great opportunity for me to network with students like Valerie and also other people that are interested in law as well as I am, and also meet with, professors, mentors that could help me achieve my dreams of obviously going to law school. So.
Okay, that's great. Wow.
Yeah, so what inspired me to join pre-law? I attended one of their activities before. It's like a mock interview with one of the admission officers at BYU Provo, and I feel like that's amazing. Like, there's no way in earth you're gonna talk to an admission officer, and the Pre-law Society organized it, and it's a good experience for me to just practice presenting myself in front of other people during mock trials as well. So I feel like that kind of like sparked the interest that like I want to be part of the Pre-law Society if this is all the things that they're doing.
Like, if someone is a freshman and they want to have interview with the dean, the admission, like, can they do it? Can they sign up for it?
Yeah, so actually we're going to have a pre-law week coming up, and we will be doing a mock admissions and at the same time a mock interview. So Dean Grover from BYU Provo will be coming and like interviewing students. So that'll be a good opportunity as a freshman student.
Okay. And how has this club helped you and other members prepare for law school? Like, what do you do? The activities?
I mean, I feel like I still have a lot to learn as far as preparing for law school, but I feel the Pre-law Society has helped me connect with, like I said previously, just professors that are helping me along the way to achieve my goal of going to law school. And so Sister Kajiyama's been very great. Dr. Smith was also a tremendous help to me in achieving goals that I've had throughout my undergraduate experience here at BYU-Hawaii with internships and also just different classes that I would like to take. So,
Yeah, I mean, joining Pre-law Society, you're going to meet people who are also having this idea of going to law school. And so it's very important for people who just like thinking or still deciding, because you're going to hear their perspectives. And if you're planning to do LSATs, you're going to be with other students that are taking the LSAT, and they could like share resources to you or like give you advice on like which are the good resources you can use or like when to start, or yeah, those are kind of the things I think Pre-law Society could help with students joining the club.
What kind of student do you think would benefit the most from joining the Pre-law Society?
do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. So I feel like not only students who wants to go to law school, but people are thinking of like, should I go to law school or not? Because if you don't get into an organization, you're not going to learn or have the perspective or like weighs the pros and cons of going to law school. So I feel like if you're just thinking and you don't know, you're curious, you should still like just join the Pre-law Society and see what's in there and like how this fits to your vision or your personality or your purpose. Yeah.
Okay. So law school is known to be challenging and competitive, and many people have misconceptions about it. What are some of the most common misunderstandings or misconceptions about law school or the legal field that you've encountered?
Well, there's a lot of law school, from what I've heard, it is very challenging. It's very hard. They demand a lot from their students. Obviously, I'm not a law student yet. I'm a wannabe, I guess. And so I think a lot of misconceptions arise around, the quickness of how quickly you need to go to law school after you graduate. Certain misconceptions about the LSAT are also out there too. And something interesting I've been looking at is I follow this account on X. They're Spivey Consulting is what they're called. And they basically they track the admissions of students and the applications that students submit to law school. And they're up about 30% this year. So going to law school is actually becoming more and more competitive and also more and more popular for undergraduate students. And so there is a need for students to start preparing for the LSAT more early in their undergraduate career, because more and more schools, their LSAT scores are continuing to raise. BYU's is very competitive, and so there is a need to invest some money into some prep courses and spend some time studying for that test, because it is hard. I've taken it twice, and you do need to prepare for it. So
Yeah, that's true. LSAT is really hard. It's kind of scary though.
It is.
I
agree.
think one misconception that I've heard is that, oh, join pre-law society. It's like, oh, I'm not smart enough to be part of the pre-law society. Law school is for smart people. Law school is for people who can speak in front and do oral arguments in front of a judge. I think that these skills or things that law students are doing can be like teachable and you can learn it. I feel like law school is for people who have the perseverance to like get up there when you fail or you were embarrassed in front of the class because you don't know the facts of the case. And another misconception probably is that it's only for political science students. It's not. Even if you're in biology, biochem, you can do patent law, or you can go communications, you can do media law, you can go engineering, you can do intellectual property law. So it's like for all majors, it's not only for political science. Yeah, I think those are the two misconceptions I always hear from students.
Love that. I think, I don't know, like from what my mom says at least, she wants me to do law. But now that I'm hearing all of these, I don't know, the explanation, Pim's like cheering right now. Pim is cheering right now. I didn't see that a while ago. But she wants me to do law mainly because she knows that I love to argue. But now
Loves
that
that.
That's a good skill.
it's a good skill. It's a good skill, especially if you win.
Yeah.
But thank you for mentioning the misconceptions and us actually learning that it's not just for people who want to go into it, but like something to think about too.
Yeah,
'Kay.
can I add something? Even if you have just a little interest in it and you're a STEM major or STEM student, you have a great opportunity to just see if law is good for you. Because I have a friend who goes to BYU, and he knows somebody who's a patent attorney, and they look for undergraduates that have studied science or biology or chemistry. And patent attorneys do very well. And I'm not saying the only reason you should go into law is for money, but there are many, as Val said, there are many opportunities for every single major to go to law school. So
Love that. Okay, another question. The LSAT is a big part of the law at school admissions. How do you recommend students start preparing while balancing schoolwork?
so yeah, this test, man, it is it's hard.
Making you think twice.
Sorry, were you gonna say
I
something?
don't know. It was
Okay.
just, yeah.
So I started studying for the LSAT middle of my junior year, probably actually more towards the beginning of my junior year here. And because I had heard from students that were in law school that they wish that they would have studied earlier. They would have prepped earlier for the LSAT. And so I took their advice. I didn't really realize the amount of hours I needed to put in to actually learn the concepts, because I would study, 6-7 hours a week and, maybe do a practice test once or twice a month. But that really wasn't doing it for me. And so I think, as far as balancing, your LSAT with work or with your school schedule or with a family, you just really gotta, like, I went back to my mission, weekly planning. You gotta just put it in your calendar and just see where there are opportunities where you can set aside, 30 minutes to an hour of just straight LSAT studying where there's no distractions. And so, and having taken the test, I feel like you do get good experience, even though you may not have gotten the score you wanted. Taking the test, getting that off your shoulders allows you to do better the second time or, however many times you take the test. So,
Yeah, LSAT is really hard. So I tried starting to review for LSAT, and one thing I could say is you're not gonna be the smartest person. You're not gonna get it the first time you take the LSAT. You just need to practice. If you feel like, oh, I'm smart enough in constitutional law class or in a international legal drafting class, and then you practice doing LSAT, it's like, wait, why don't I get it? Why it's wrong? And so you're gonna be frustrated at the beginning, but you need to practice, and improve your score from time to time, and probably ask advice from people who took it already, which is a good thing to do.
yeah, and the LSAT, it doesn't have law. I mean, maybe in reading comprehension, there is a passage where it talks about a certain Supreme Court case, but logical reasoning, it's not really what you learn about in law
That's
classes
true.
taught by Sister Kajiyama here. And so it's just for the MCAT, you take OChem, you take biochem, or all these other different classes to prepare for the test. The LSAT, you just have to learn how to take the test. It's just repetition. Like Val said, you just gotta practice, and you'll get better at it.
Okay, so practice. Okay, another question. Outside of academics, networking is a crucial part of any profession. Have you or other members had success with internships or networking through the club?
I feel like I can speak to that one because I know people who got into law school because of networking. So I remember we have 2 BYU age alumni that's now a BYU Provo, and they get a full ride scholarship. So they did those mock interviews with the Dean of Admissions. And so you kind of give them a sense of who you are. And so when they saw your name on the application, they have a background about you and they actually talk to you. So I think that they said that helped them get into law school as well because the dean already knew them from attending the mock interview or from being a pre-law officer. So I think that's one of the benefits of being a pre-law member that I've heard from our alumni.
Yeah, I think as far as internships go, I talked about Dr. Smith previously, but he helped me get an internship with the United States Senate. And so I was there for from January to April of last year. And so I had a great opportunity. I networked with various, people that were in law and also staff that were working for Senator Ricketts. And so I felt like that was a really great opportunity for me, get the answer that yes, law school is right for me. And so I think working with professors that are currently here, we have a lot of great professors here to help you get internships and also, just networking with those events that we do have on campus with, Dean Grover that's coming in a couple weeks. It's a great opportunity for students to learn more about law school and what it is.
Okay, so the Pre-law Society sounds like an incredible resource for the students, like what you shared. What are some of the most exciting events or guest speakers the club has hosted?
Well, we had a really great.
Yeah, the Women in Law
That
is
was
very, I
awesome.
feel like, one of the best activities that we had so far this semester. We invited 6 women lawyers to share their experiences, and you'll be amazed that even if they're lawyers or they went to law school, they're doing different things. There's one a CEO, there's one's working in a hospital doing those transactions in there, there's one who's a mom, and there's one who's a professor. So I feel like what we heard from students is that they learn a lot of things that when you go to law school, it doesn't mean that you're gonna go inside the court and defend someone. You can be somebody else. You just have the discipline of being a lawyer, such as detail oriented. You'll have the discipline of like how to properly argue and like reason. So I feel like that's one of the big event that we have that I think made an impact to the students that attended.
Yeah, I felt like it was a very intimate setting too, where the students got to ask questions in groups of what, like 5 to 10
Yeah.
people, and each of the attorneys went around in these groups and just basically answered any questions that they might have had. And so I think that was, at least for me, it was a really great opportunity. I learned a lot from them. And Pim, were you
Yeah,
there
I
as
was
well?
there too.
What did you think of it?
I loved it because I am a mother now and I am considering law school. So I had the opportunity to ask from a lawyer who also a mom. One of them that I talked to, she gave birth the second year of law school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she didn't plan to have a baby when she go to law school, but it just happened. Like her and her husband both received revelation to have a baby, and she said that it was a hard decision, but then when she did it, she said that it was not that bad as she thought that it would be. So that kind of inspiring for me because now that I have the first baby, I also want to continue having more, and I also want to go to law school. But I'm not planning to have one in law school like her. But it is inspiring to like hear her story. Yeah.
For students who aren't completely sure about law school, how does the club help them decide if it's the right place or if it's the right path?
I don't know. I feel like Val's done a great job as president to help include everybody, because we just had this really fun mock trial thing for Valentine's Day, and I thought that was like a really low
Oh
key.
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
I
super,
saw an ad about it.
yeah, very low key setting, but it also allowed, people that are interested in law to kind of make up, these arguments for a romance case. But there's also those more serious events, with the dean of admissions from BYU or these women that came and talked about their experiences in law school. And so I feel like there's just a very diverse set of opportunities and events that Val and also past people that have been involved with this club have helped students, cultivate that interest in law school.
Yeah, I think like law school could be scary, but you just need to explore and get into a place and like feel if this is something that you want to do. Because if you just decided like I don't want to do this without like trying or like exploring or even just asking people who did it before, I feel like you might miss a chance of like doing something that you'll be good at in the future. So that'll be my advice. Like get in there, explore, and get out there if you feel like this is not me, this is not what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I didn't take any political science class, but I take a media law and ethics for my communication class. So it's kind of like a law class, maybe. But I remember there was a debate and I was dreading on that day because like we have to like kind of like say our argument regarding if there was a setting if like the school should like there should be a freedom of speech or something like that, and my side, I think my group was like assigned to like there should not be freedom of speech or something like that, and I don't want it. and I think like as part of that, I feel like that's when I realized I don't want I don't want anything like that. But at the same time, like what Val said, if you just try, because I tried it and I'm very proud of myself. If you just go out there and like try, I feel like you'll be able to like know what you really want. Yeah. I'm very proud of myself.
That's good. That's good. Nice.
Okay, so next question. Does the club offer mentorship opportunities or connections with law students and attorneys? If so, how have these connections helped members?
I think as of now, we don't have an established like mentorship program for like people who want to law school. But what we trying to do is to like invite alumni who've done LSAT, who've done who went to law school and like connect them with these people. If someone asks like, oh, I want to go to BYU Provo or want to go to Emory and like I want to go this law school, and then we can like find an alumni who's studying in there and like connect them to each other. But it's not like an established project, which I think will be a good idea in the future to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that the program, or at least the club here, is very niche. It's very small. And so, yeah, there's maybe not necessarily those mentorship programs, but I feel like the events are great opportunities to meet and network with those that have been to law school and have taken the LSAT and have been through all that. And so, yeah, what Val said, I completely agree with.
I just want to ask this. Like, three of you, Pim, Reese, and Valerie, you guys are like, of course, part of the Pre-law Society. You guys are all not only members but part of the presidency. How do you guys balance like schoolwork, like wanting to go to studying for LSAT, if you guys are studying for LSAT, as you should. And
I'm taking a break.
Me too.
I'm studying it right now.
How do you guys find balance in it, and also like finding happiness in like doing what you're doing right now?
That's a good question. I'll probably start with like finding the purpose why you want to go to law school. So when I was a kid, I thought like because my dad wants me to go to law school because he's a frustrated lawyer. It's just like, okay, when I go to college, I want to go to law school. But later on, I felt like maybe I'm just doing it because my dad wants me to do it. And then so I kind of like have a year that like, oh, I'm not going to law school anymore. And then I met different people here. I've been involved with the Religious Freedom and Human Dignity Initiative. I've talked to lawyers. And then that kind of gave me the purpose that I want to do international law in the future because there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed in that area. And so that drives me to like, no matter how hard LSAT will be, I'll gonna put my head into it. I'll gonna put all my strength and maybe energy in like studying this thing. And maybe when it comes to balancing, I don't know how I balance things. Maybe I don't balance thing at all, but I'm just... Time management is a very important skill that you're gonna have, that you need to have when you go to law school, not only undergrad. And I think I just have my schedule every single day of the things I want to do. I have my calendar every semester. I try to see which are the big things that are happening so I don't like overcommit to something that I can't really do later on. So that's something that I usually do to balance time and like and you have people, so you need to delegate tasks and like share the burden as well to them, so that will make things lighter for you. Yeah.
Oh, me. I feel like there's three things that I think that help me the most. The first thing is that, just as Val said, you need to have the purpose. When I was in high school, I was so lost. I didn't know what I wanted to study after high school, so I went on a mission. And when I went on a mission, I pray and fasted every month to know the gifts, the spiritual gift that Heavenly Father has blessed me with, to find out so that I can kind of like use that gift to bless others. And one of them is that I really have a heart for like children. I love children. Like I just think that they're so pure and I think they need to be protected. And whenever I come across like abuse cases, I feel bad for them because if they get bullied at school, they can always come home and find someone to comfort them. But what if they get abused by their own parents? The only people they thought they could trust. And so they're really helpless in that moment. And I want to be able to use law to protect them and to help them get through that difficulty. And also, and I also consider like therapists and like psychology route. According to my friends, I'm not a very good listener.
Very direct. Very direct.
I can listen, but like I cannot. They feel like they would come for me for like a solution. but not for like if they really want someone to comfort them. I'm not really good at that. So I think maybe therapist is not for me. But I am really also on my mission. I just discovered that I memorize really well. Like I memorize things quickly, and I'm able to use what I memorized and apply those scripture verses. Or when I go teach and someone talk about something and they need it right now, like where is it in the scripture, like I could tell them right away. And so that I recognize that, oh, I fasted and prayed to know the gift, and this is one of the gift. And in law cases you have to not memorize everything, but you need to kind of know like if this part of law where it come from, like which case it come from, or like what was the conclusion of the case and something like that, for you to kind of like make a decision in some yeah. So, and the second one is set the time. Do you have to like fix it once you have the purpose and you have your call value? Like from that podcast, you know how to set your call value now. You need to fix it in your schedule. Like this is the time I'm gonna do it. And when is the time that you, for example, you set a time at 6 p.m., you're going to study for LSAT, and you're like, oh, I'm so tired, my baby crying, like, what's happening? Like, how am I going to do this? Tell yourself, like, first turn to your husband and tell your husband to go
What if I
comfort the
don't have
baby.
a husband?
Yeah, why we don't have any boyfriend at all?
Oh, if you don't have baby, that's good. So you don't have to worry about baby crying.
that's
Oh yeah,
Right?
oh yeah, we forgot
It's
about
mother
that part.
scenario.
Yeah, so you
Yes.
don't have to
Scenario.
worry about that part. Just set the time and you feel tired. Oh, you've been to classes, you're stressed today. You have a fight with your friend or whatever. Just tell yourself, oh, maybe you'll study for 10 minutes. And then when you think like, oh, it's just 10 minutes instead of 1 hour, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. And then when you study for 10 minutes, something about LSAT, you don't want to study it. But once you start to study, you don't want to stop. It's actually really
Is that
fun.
right? Is that right, Reese?
I don't know if I agree with that.
Doesn't agree. He's like,
Reese
I don't
is
know.
like,
I
I don't think so. He's taking a break right now,
I
and I think I'll be taking a break forever.
I think I'll agree with Pim because you're curious and you want to be like, I should know this, and like why did I get it wrong? So you keep on,
LSAT is a skill that I don't think it's just important for just lawyers. I think it's important for everyone. I feel like if every single one learned the skill in LSAT, like logical thinking skill, they will do well in like throughout their life.
Is
I don't
that
know.
a textbook that's like available for like everyone?
there's like different reviewers
Or
out in there.
reviewers?
Like I don't know, like just simple argument like Valerie loved apple. Apple is red. Oh no, I would say Valerie love red apple, and people who eat red apple are
Short people.
short people. Say what's the conclusion? Valerie are short. Valerie is short, right? This is a valid argument. But sometimes in the outset, it would say like Valerie love to eat apple. People who eat apple are short, and so tall people doesn't like apple. Like this part doesn't say it in the test. So in the answer show, if you say this, you know that it's wrong. It's just something like this. Like invalid argument is most thing that people assume. You know. So we see this in the world today. The world right now, like when this is a piece of information and people misinterpret it and assume things, and now there's like fight like between two party, and now they can't find peace.
And that's when peace building comes in.
Yeah, just something like this. So, what did I say? Know your purpose, set a time schedule, and just commit to that. Even though you can commit for the whole hours, maybe like 10 minutes. And then the third one, find your support system. Because outside preparing is hard.
Where can we find that support system?
Your friend or anyone who's good at listening and comforting you, who's like not me like me. Like I always like I either go to my husband, but if I feel like my husband doesn't really understand what I'm going through, because like the outside he doesn't really know what it is, I could go to Val or like people in like pre-law society, because they're on the same boat. They know what you're going through, and you can kind of like cry about it together. It's good.
How about you, Reese? How do you cope up with all those other things?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think a lot of people are scared just because they think the LSAT is the end all be all when it's not. You know, a lot of law schools, every law school, there's so many different factors that go into admissions. There's your GPA, your letters of recommendation, your resume, the experiences you've had as an undergraduate student and, growing up. And so your personal statement. And so there's so many factors for admissions committees to consider. And so the LSAT is scary, but, if you don't get a 170, it's not the end of the world.
True. I agree.
There are other factors. And if you're a freshman, work hard in your classes and do as best as you can and get that GPA high and, get an internship and, make those connections with professors to get good letters of recommendation. But I think going along with what Val and Pim have said, you've got to be passionate about what you do and you've got to find what drives you. And that's already been mentioned. And so for me, I thought I would be passionate. When I went to the U.S. Senate, I thought I'd be passionate about the environment and public works because Senator Ricketts is on a committee for that. But he's also on a committee for foreign relations. And so I worked with foreign relations. That was the last pick. And so, but I ended up loving it. I loved foreign policy. I loved Blimes' class. And so that's something I'm passionate about. And in your undergraduate, you've got to find what you're passionate about, what you love, and what you're willing to fight for and willing to put the time in for. Because, I have family members that went to law school and, they talk about friends that dropped out because they don't really have the right vision or right purpose. They're going in for the money or, whatever. But you've just got to find your purpose. And you've got to be passionate about law school because it is demanding, it is hard. And so that's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Like every time I feel like I want to grieve, but I just think of those baby crying, like those children crying. So I'm like, oh, they're waiting for me in the future. So I need to do this. Anyway, let's get personal for a moment. I mean, we already got personal.
Kind of a little bit already.
Okay. What one thing you wish you knew about the law school application process when you first started considering it?
For me, when I was looking for resources to use for LSAT prep, I kind of went in not knowing anything. There are so many different, platforms you can use for prep. And so I think I got on the wrong prep in the beginning, and that set me back about a year. And then I don't know if we're allowed to endorse, but I really like LSAT Demon. That's been a great resource for me to use while I've been studying for the LSAT. And so you've got to find how you learn. LSAT Demon for me, they focus a lot on accuracy rather than time. And they cater to, the individual that's studying. So you're going to receive questions that you might be struggling with, and you're going to receive reading comp passages that you might need more time and just more practice with. And so I would say just find the right resource.
Yeah.
And for me, that was LSAT Demon, and I didn't find that until, about 8 months ago. And when I started using LSAT Demon, my score significantly improved. And so just find the right resource.
Yeah,
that
I
you can
agree.
use.
LSAT Demon, 100%. We didn't get sponsored, guys. Okay. And another one, The Loophole by Ellen Cassidy. Really, really good. Just the first chapter, it also improved my score a lot. Anyway, okay. The second question, has being in the Pre-law Society shaped your career goals or changed your perspective on law school?
Yeah, definitely. Being in pre-law society made me think that I should consider other law schools as well. Like, what do I really want to do after going to law school? And is this school vision aligns with that one? And the second thing is that you need to be with people and you need to learn how to work with other people. So if you're going to join the pre-law society, you need to talk to other people, know why they're going to law school, understand them more. And then maybe the third one is that there's a lot of things you can do with law school or with a JD degree. You can go somewhere else. You don't need to be inside the court all the time or work in a law firm. You can do other things by using your knowledge when you went to law school, if you go to law school. Yeah.
Okay. And What would you say, like, for students who are on the fence about pursuing law, what one piece of advice you would give them?
Join the club.
Don't be
Advice.
yeah.
Okay. Any other?
Yeah, I'm just like,
join
don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
If he saw us and like join pre-law society, it's like, oh, I'm not smart enough or something
Yeah.
like that. Just try, join. You're gonna recognize that most of these people are work in progress and they're just trying to improve themselves.
We're also
That's-
not weird people.
Yeah, we're not weird. We're not so nerdy.
You guys are not.
Yeah, we're not weird.
Okay.
Okay, so I think the main things that I'm taken from this episode right now, there's like 3 P's that I'm trying to remember. So there's passion, practice, and pre-law society.
Yeah, 3 P's.
I think mindset as well. Mindset.
Mindset too. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights. It's been great learning about pre-law society. If any students are interested in joining, where can they find more information?
Just follow the Instagram account. We usually post every activity that we do there. If you're not yet member, just join the activities, and next semester we're gonna set up another info booth and you can sign up. But if you're not member, just feel free to come. We're welcoming everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At BYUH Pre-law.
Yep.
Yes.
So thank you again for being here, Reese and Valerie, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to follow Alaka'i, the podcast, for more student stories and insights.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Alaka'i News and check out Alaka'i on Facebook and YouTube for more updates.
You can also listen to this episode and future ones on Buzzsprout, YouTube, and Spotify.
These are your hosts, Valerie,
Michael,
And Pin.
and see you next week. Aloha!
Hello.
happy Valentine's Day!
Happy Valentine's Day!